Why did I move to Thailand? Was it the right decision? And should you move out here in 2022? In this video, I'm going to tell you all about my experience. What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Eric and I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, but 3 years ago I moved over here to Bangkok, Thailand. If you want to see more videos on Thailand, definitely hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be putting out a video every single day this month. Now, let's jump into my story. So back in 2017, I made my first trip to Thailand. Back then, I really didn't know anything about the country. I mean, I'd heard of pad thai noodles and Muay Thai kickboxing, but I really didn't know much about this region of the world. My girlfriend and I went to a travel expo back in Boston, and we saw countries set up from all over the world, and from that we ended up deciding to go to Thailand. I think for no other reason than it was very far away and the weather was good and there were some beautiful sights to see, and so I think that's the main reason we chose to go to Thailand over anywhere else. We flew over. Our first trip was in June of 2017, and we had a great week here, and I remember flying home and just already missing it. So the following year we did another trip. I think this time we stayed for 2 weeks in late spring of 2018, and again we had a fantastic time. We traveled all over the country, the north, the south. We spent a little time in Bangkok, but I remember thinking as we were getting ready to leave, oh, I wish I could stay here for longer and just soak it all in, you know, get out of the hotels, get out of all the tourist areas, and really just explore more. So fast forward a few months, I'm waking up in Boston on a cold November morning, and I remember this morning it was already starting to snow in Boston, and it came very early that year, and I just remember thinking like, okay, here we go again. Get ready to be unhappy for the next 6 months. I hate cold weather, and so every year, you know, I'm kind of depressed in the winter. You know, it's really not a great time for me up in the northeast of the US. And it wasn't just the weather, it was everything. It was work, relationships. I just really needed a change. In that moment, as I'm watching the snow fall down, I just decide I've got to do something about this. And so, of course, I did the only logical thing in this situation. I booked a flight to Bangkok leaving the first week of January, and I actually didn't even tell my family until just about 2 weeks before, because I knew they were going to hate it. I knew they were going to want to kill me, but I just felt like it was something I had to do for me, even if they didn't understand. So I arrived here the first week of January, and when I got here, I did not know anything. I didn't speak the language, I didn't know anyone, I didn't even know how the train worked, the BTS. I was really starting from scratch, and honestly, that's exactly what I wanted. I found my first apartment through Airbnb, and I think I was lucky. I got a good landlord. Originally, I had just planned to come for 1 month. But soon after I got here, I realized that this was going to be a much longer term thing. And so 1 month turned into 2 months, 2 months turned into 4 months, and before you know it, I was spending more time here than I was in the US. People ask me all the time, what is it that you like so much about Thailand? And for me, it's this magic mix of different elements. It's the weather, the culture, the food, the people. It's walking out of my apartment every morning and smelling delicious street food. It's meeting people from all over the world, meeting creative people here. It's just a little bit of everything, including being able to travel outside of Bangkok to some of the world's most beautiful destinations, and it's all within just a few hours. And of course, as a person coming from a very, very expensive Western city, the value you get for your money here is incredible. Is Bangkok and Thailand in general, are they totally unique in the world? Is this the only place in the world like this? Well, I think there are probably a lot of great places to live in the world and to experience, but for me right now, I'm very happy right here. And so I'm excited to see what the next few years will be like here in Thailand. If you had asked me 5 years ago, or if you had told me that I would be living in Thailand, I would have thought you were absolutely out of your mind. But that just goes to show that you can't predict the future and you never know what life will bring. I mean, who knows, maybe in a few years I'll want to move to Japan or Europe or go back to the US, who knows? So now comes the question of whether you should move out here in 2022. Only you will really be able to answer that question for yourself. Pre-pandemic, this country was growing at an incredible rate, and there are definitely a lot of good good things, but also some bad things that come along with that. The main one I would say is over-tourism. For better or worse, the whole pandemic situation has really slowed down the tourism sector, and hopefully as things start to rebound, it's built back in a more sustainable way. But that also means the next year or so is probably going to be the best time to be in Thailand in the last 10 or 20 years. You'll get to see this place like it was in the past and not how it was just a few years ago. So what will Thailand be like in 2022? Well, no one can predict that exactly, but I'm sure the weather will still be beautiful, the people will still be warm and welcoming, and hopefully the entertainment sector will fully reopen within the next few months. So if you're thinking about coming out here, I say do it. Be ready for new experiences and bring just a little bit of extra patience with you. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to learn more about the cost of living in Thailand, definitely check out this video right here, and I'll see you in the next one.